right? So this is the abstract. So this is the abstract syntax of our workflow language, and it is actually influenced by the process language of CSP, standing for Communicating Sequential Processes. And like in CSP, we have a process for deadlock, we have a process for successful completion, and these two are the most important constructs in our workflows. And I'll actually explain to you what's the difference between CSP and our workflows by these two constructs. So here, we run an operation or guarded transaction before we run the workflows. In this construct here, the execution of a workflow is predicated upon a predicate guard, like a constraint. Before you can execute the guard, you better make sure the system satisfies the guarded constraint. And as usual, like the usual CSP, you can choose between two workflows, or you can compose two workflows sequentially, or you can execute two workflows in parallel. And finally, you can actually extend the domain of your environment by declaring some new variable. You can also do that. And as I just mentioned, what's really the difference between our workflow language and CSP? It's actually about how we interpret the action and how we interpret the events. In CSP, the way you interpret the events is by synchronizations. But in our case, what we really want to make sure is you actually transform your state by action. And we want to make sure between the transformation, you wouldn't really block another operation from another workflow. So that's the difference. You don't really have that kind of usual construct in CSP. And I will actually give you more examples later in the talk. So the final point about the workflow language is our main concern of designing this language is for automatically calculate under what circumstances can a workflow complete successfully without actually being blocked in the middle. So this workflow specification better be finite. So that's why, for the purpose of this paper, we actually have omitted the construct of iteration. We might be able to actually introduce later with some bounded looping, but just for this paper, we don't really talk about it. Right, so this is just one simple example of the workflow. So this is our abstract syntax, and this is a state diagram. Just like in the normal CSP, you can see very easily the correspondence between the textual form and the pictorial forms. It's quite obvious.